Okay. You wanna start?
We're ready.
Yeah, if you're ready. I'm glancing at the clock here, it ain't. But it ain't going. All right, pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Chairman, President, Vice Chair, President Daniel, President, Bobby Schultz, President, and David, President. Right. No absentees. So the prior people that were here are listed there, approval of the minutes. Everybody take time to read through it. That'll be under the new stuff now.
It's the agenda.
Motion to approve the minutes, Sarah?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Second.
Second?
Yep.
Tanner and Danny.
Do the reorganization.
All right, gonna ask for a listing of the others in attendance. We have Mr. and Mrs. Bond back there are here to speak tonight. And Mr. Safranco? You have anything to say at this time?
Just here observing.
Huh?
Just here observing, Mr. Chairman.
All right. All right, so we have the approval of the minutes. Funding update, Mr. Bordner?
Give him the right agenda.
What?
The agenda is right there.
Reorganization?
Yep.
All right. The chairman?
Mr. Bronco, do you want to say anything about the chairman?
For reorganization,
Yeah,
that's the board's decision.
okay, okay.
The board will cast a ballot.
But the chairman, according to the bylaws, is appointed by the chairman of the Carbon County Board of Commissioners, which which from what we got today, it sounded as you guys have appointed Mr. Fetter.
Correct.
As
It's
chairman.
the same lineup as what you had.
Okay,
Yeah.
What is currently.
yeah, so
So,
the commissioners reappointed you, Mr. Fetter.
All in favor?
No, you,
Help you out, Mr. Fetter.
Yeah.
You're, Mr. Fetter, you were reappointed by the board of commissioners
Thank you.
and the vice chair along with the secretary.
Secretary is gonna be Anna?
yep, I make that motion. So
I second that motion.
Pardon?
so did you get correspondence today? If they appointed Dick chairman, did they reappoint me yet?
No, that has to be voted on at their meeting.
Okay, all right.
Sorry.
We'll take care of all that.
Oh.
Help you out. We appointed, then we take back from the committee and then we come back with your.
So then
All right.
I think someone else should motion for me for the secretary position.
Yeah, somebody else has to
Okay.
make that motion.
I make a
Okay.
motion
Okay.
I'll second that one.
for you to be the secretary.
Tanner?
do you guys wanna vote?
I make a motion to enter for vice chairman.
I'll second it. Did everybody glance through the minutes, the prior minutes?
Yep.
Any objections? Bobby?
I read through them. They look good.
Uh,
Remember, I can sit here and say, uh-huh.
I can't.
All right. Yeah, they're good.
All right, if everybody's in favor of the minutes, have a motion to accept it,
I make the motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second it.
Tanner and Danny. All right, public comments. Mr. Bond, step forward.
I've learned a few things in the last week, had to do some research. I found that most farmland preservation, most people take the check once and done. I was told that by Northampton County, and that seems to be the way to go. Well, it's a choice.
That's
I
right.
chose to take 3 payments. So my first payment came at settlement, which was the 24th of October. The next scheduled payment was March the 1st of this year. The last payment will be March 1st of 26. So I got about to the middle of March, and I called Dave. I said, how does this work? How does the check get delivered, by registered mail or however? He said, well, I don't have it yet. I'll get back to you. So about before the end of March, I'd say maybe 7-10 days later, he said, to my knowledge, they tell me it's lost. They think it's in Mifflinburg. So I left it go at that, but now we get into the first week of May. So it's basically an agreement of sale, the way I looked at it. And it's accruing interest at 2% of simple interest. So from the day of settlement to the 1st of March, I'm accruing interest on the total of the 2 payments. So when I get the first payment, then I'm only accruing interest on the last payment. So we're, what now, 73 days past March the 1st. Am I accruing interest? I don't know. That's a question the state and my accountant are gonna have to figure out. But I called to the controller's office in Harrisburg. They had record of the first check for settlement being cut. At that time, last week, they didn't have any knowledge of the other one. Today I called, they knew there was a request for a payment on February the 11th for the March 1st of this year payment, which was just asked for again. They cut a check on the 7th of May. They don't know if it left there yet. The process, I think it goes from there to the state board, to Dave, then to me. So I'm just trying to explain what I know of the process. When it gets here, I think the interest should accrue till I get it in my hand, but I'm not sure. That's something I gotta work out later. But let's see if it gets here. My only other question is, the county could have cut their check for the 1st of March. And I know that, I guess the normal procedure is that one comes and you give them to me both at the same time. So, but that's about where I'm at. Anybody have any questions? I don't know if I missed anything or any of the steps, but that's what I can tell you so far.
Okay, I'll give a little update on this.
Okay, you might be able to help
Yeah.
fill me in here on
So-
what.
Just before I left the office today, I did get an email from the state. They got the next check for you,
Okay.
and she is sending it. So she said she sent it through UPS. I'm assuming it's overnight. Might not be though. So, and I never trust the mail. But yeah, obviously, if I don't have a check in my hand from the state by Friday, by Thursday night, before I leave, I will definitely have another phone call to the state asking where that check is now.
Well, there should be a
so
tracking number on
I
there.
should have one for you on Thursday from the state. And like, as I told you on the phone before, I did start the process with the county one because of the delay and the date coming in, as you already know. From what I understand, the way the agreement of sales have always been written, is the accrued interest is based on not when you have the check in hand, but what's on the agreement of sale.
Okay.
So those numbers will be locked in, but like I said, I better have a check in my hand, hopefully before Thursday, the end of the day on Thursday.
Yeah, I kind of agree with, and questioning their method of delivering a check to anybody. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, there should be a better way, I think, but.
yeah, I agree. And again, like I said, I apologize for that. I would be frustrated too if I were you.
But I know the mail is messed up. I hesitate to send, and that prompted my question to Dave originally. I was waiting for a check for somebody else, which took 7 weeks. And that prompted my call to him. Well, how does this process work? I'm already 2.5 weeks and it's not here. How does it work? So that's how I got here. So anybody have any other questions? I think I've explained it the best I can.
You have, but I truly believe that you should be paid your interest, 85% by the state, 15% by the county. And now, the thing of it is, David, why did you drop the ball when he didn't have his check on the 1st of March? Why didn't you follow up instead of taking somebody's conversation, well, it must be lost in the mail? At that point in time, you should have gotten on the freaking phone with Seth Zimmerman and the controller at Harrisburg and find out why this man didn't have his money. You know, I think that's your problem for not following up. So, but any,
Anything else.
pardon?
I'm not saying anything else.
Well, I'm just saying, this is a poor way of doing business and it puts a black eye on this board. You
That's
you
what was
didn't
done.
inform us, you didn't
That was
inform us
done.
that it wasn't done.
That was done.
What was
Paul,
done?
when we found out, when he didn't get the check and he called and asked me why we didn't get it, and I said, I don't know why we didn't get it. I called the state and like Kenny said, it was the middle of March. Yeah,
The other thing
I called the state.
I questioned the state as to whether the county had to ask for the check for payment, and the state says, no, we know we're supposed to cut this check.
Right.
Which they, on February 11th, they apparently did and sent it, but it got lost. So in normal process, I assume it should have got to Dave, but I agree in a way that you should have called him on the 1st of March and, well, why don't I have it? Because this is the due date. I agree
Right.
with that.
The reason I didn't call on the 1st of March, to be honest with you, is I've been aware they have been late before. They always do that. I checked. She sent me an email, actually, I think it was March 7th, when they sent the check was actually cut.
Yeah, there seems to be a heck of a lag time between.
Yeah.
The treasurer's office going back to the board and it getting sent. I don't know, that doesn't seem feasible either.
No, that's not plausible.
There's too much time in between. to sit
Well, it
around
takes them a
someplace.
long time to cut a check, and as
Yeah.
you'll find out when I start talking about these other farms, they were approved by the state. We have not gotten any of our paperwork back, our checks, our agreement, nothing. And they were approved all the way back in February. So-
It's quite a few months, yes.
So, I mean, I can't go to the state and tell them they need to cut a check for the next day.
No,
I can't, it's not gonna work, so,
but
I
no,
mean, I followed up with them. And then I asked her, and she went and she found out that the check got lost somewhere in Mechanicsburg or wherever. And then she decided to cut another check. And it's a process for them. And that's what
but no,
I mean, I don't know how else you want me to move it forward.
I'm not picking on you, but no one in their right mind would send a check that isn't registered mail for that kind of money.
That's what they did.
I don't see how you would do that. No one would do that.
That's what they did. I don't tell the state how to send their
I
check.
understand that, but I
And
mean,
when
it
we
just,
send
seems-
orders, we usually try to hand deliver them. I do not
but
send
there
them
should be
through
some
mail.
kind of tracking number. If you-
Yeah.
Tracking number.
If
there,
you
yes.
write a check like that, you want to track it,
Yeah.
I would think. And I'm not saying nothing bad about you, but them, I don't understand how they do business.
So how are we gonna go about getting Mr. Bond his,
As
interest?
soon as I have his check in hand, he will get a phone call and I will either hand deliver it to him or he can come down, whichever he prefers. He will have that check the moment I have it.
But then, do you have to contact the state about the interest?
The interest
The-
is based
the-
off
the
the
state
agreement of
pays
sale. You're gonna
85%,
have
you
to,
pay-
you would have to talk with the lawyers on that, but that's the way it's set up with the state. I don't know. I mean, if you're talking about getting interest because
It's
he
like
didn't
40
get a
it's
check in
almost
time,
$40 a day.
I can't,
Right.
that,
You can't
somebody
approve it.
have
We
to take a
understand
look at
that.
that, yeah.
It's almost $40 a day, so
What,
we want you to follow up on that and see what happens. Because that's a pile of money out of his pocket.
Okay.
You,
But I
you
can tell
talk
you,
about
from
it
the
too.
agreement, I don't think they're gonna, that's how it's gonna work. I think
Okay.
it's based off of those dates that are in that agreement of sale, whether they have the check in hand or not.
Well, we'll have to hash that out, because the accountant and I agreed that I'll hand them all the paper, when it gets here, I'll hand them all the paperwork. He said it's like, if you get a payoff date from the bank, and you go past the payoff date, well, that's not good anymore.
Right.
But he will sit down and run through the numbers and see if it's worth it. Cause I don't see me getting a lawyer to fight for it.
No,
That's pissing money away, but.
Yeah.
Let's get to the next step and then we'll go to the next step.
I'll contact the state and say, hey, since he didn't get his time, is there like any way we can get into compensation? But,
Well,
and I'll try to keep, do you have an email address even that I can include you in that conversation? So that you could see it, yeah, after the meeting, give it to me and we'll get that
But
worked
I
out.
also mentioned that out there and she's like, well, she didn't wanna commit yes or no, but it's something they could add on to the last check instead of a separate, you know what I'm saying? They'll add it on at the end if there's a need to pay that little bit in there if it
Yeah.
works out.
It's a couple $1,000.
Well, the other thing I can say, I know what Dave's saying, like, I make a copy of everything. This is the original copy of the first at settlement. So this invoice date was in August. This didn't get back till September 26th to the board in Harrisburg. Then it got to him to set up settlement date in October. So it's like a month at a time till it goes from one hand to the other, at least this one. So if they're all like that, I hope they improve the system somewhere.
Exactly.
You know, it's not the way you normally do it, but that's the way the government does business. So, any other questions?
no,
Hopefully we got it squared away, Kenny.
All right.
And if Dave follows up on it,
Here,
I will.
if Dave follows up on it and we can get it corrected, more power to us. But these people not having their check 2 months after it was due puts a black eye on the whole board. And you, I'm not gonna let you slide either.
No, it puts
It
it on
puts a
the
black
state.
eye on us,
Puts it on the state,
And
and
the
they're the
state-
ones who write the checks.
right.
and the
right.
state also, it's not a good way to do business.
well, what I think I'm also hoping is that if I'm the first guy this happened to on a multiple payment, that it doesn't happen again, at least
Right.
you know what can happen in this case, because you probably never had it before me.
Yeah,
We have.
Initial
We
payment.
never had anybody lose a check. We've had checks come in where they never come in on the first of the month. They always end up coming in the middle. Again, she should have sent it overnight mail. If we would have had that, you would have had your check in no time. But since they sent it to the post office and then they lost it, yeah, they messed up.
Yeah, I don't know, it's gotta be somewhere, but. All right, thank you.
Oh, no problem, Kenny. Thank you.
You wanna do the update on the funding?
Funding, same as last month, cause nothing else really changed with it. If anybody has any question, let me know.
Tanner? Danny?
Nope.
Bobby?
So just so we're all on the same page. 888, 690 needs to be encumbered by next December 31st.
So at the present time, David, the, total fund, state and county, we have 1.2. Right?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Anybody else have any questions on it? No?
Nope.
All right, old business, we already, stepped in that landline with, the Bond Farm. Give us some kind of updates on what you're doing with, the remaining farms that we had put in, David. There was 5 farms that we approved the money for. And as far as I know, you never tell us nothing, but, I think there's only, what, 2 farms that are totally settled?
No.
No, that's not true
No,
either.
if you read the minutes from the last meeting, 2 farms have already been approved by the state. Another 2 went into the April 10th meeting. They were both
Right.
approved. The Dagenhart farm, they had to get an easement on their property to get a right of way to the back of their property because of the way they cut out the woodlands in the back. I have spoken with them.
That's the
They
one up in
are
Weatherly?
working on that and they have not gotten anything back yet to
Oh,
me.
yeah.
But he did make me aware that he did find somebody to do that, and he is working on getting that easement back to his property in the back.
All right, let's go to the Steel Farm. We've been dragging this one out forever.
Again,
I
the
don't know.
state has the contract and the check. There's nothing else we could do right now till they send that
But they
information
approved
to
the lower
us.
portion of the farm below 443. The part that they said would have to be especially,
That's all been approved and everything.
that's approved. Well, you never told us, so that's why I'm.
Yes, I
asking.
did. Yes, I did.
Okay, let's move on.
Anyhow, my memory must be going. And the Srockus Farm, Anna told me the survey was done and completed. It's not.
The survey's not completed, it started.
Okay,
It's awarded and they started it on, May 6th. They started the survey, so they have 90 days to finish it.
90 days to finish.
Yep.
Okay. All right, then the new business would be the Fink Youse and Justin Comfort's farms. Now, the
So-
Fink,
let her,
I'm gonna put out an RFP to get those farms appraised. I'm gonna send that tomorrow to Andrews Appraisals and Agrarian Appraisals. I'm not sure if I'm saying that one right. Those are the only 2 I heard of the surrounding counties using for farmland preservation, and I have that ready to send out tomorrow. So once that gets, once I get that sent out, I'll see what we get back and we'll hopefully get them all appraised.
Okay.
And we'll just keep moving from there.
all right, the Justin Cookman farm. Give us an update on that farm, because there's not enough money there to purchase it. Is that like an open tablet yet until there's enough money there to purchase, unless another farm comes in that has a higher ranking?
I'm not sure how is that working.
The farm just keep going through the process of getting, and
So in other words,
But
if another farm come in higher, David, that would knock them out?
no,
no, they're
no,
already
no.
in.
no.
Not looking at it that way.
I think once, it like becomes another year and we get more funding, we'll use that funding towards that farm.
For the
Right.
residual.
Right,
Yeah.
Well,
For
that's
what's
what I
left.
was asking.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe didn't
Right.
pay it the right way.
That's okay. I wasn't sure what you meant, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's your answer.
All right, so. All right, so are you gonna be doing the farmland preservation on your own from now on, or is David?
Dave is still gonna be helping with the financial stuff. I'm still trying to grasp a hold of the upfront process of the preservation. But Dave will still be helping with the finances and finishing up the 5 farms.
okay.
And
5.
yeah,
What were the acreages on the Fink farm, the Youse farm and the Comfort farm?
acreages.
Yeah.
I don't have that off the top of my head. That would be on the spreadsheet that we had last meeting. I can look on my phone really quick if you want.
Yeah, if you could.
Fake Farm was 78, and the Youse Farm was in the 80s, but I'm not quite sure if it was like 82 or 84.
I don't think I can find that on my
Okay.
phone. But if you have your papers from last time, it's on there. It's in that one blue spreadsheet. And then I also could send it to you tomorrow.
All
if
right,
you'd
if
like.
you can
Was there-
send it tomorrow.
Okay, was there anything specific you were wondering?
No, so those three farms are, or that will eat up most of that 1.241. Okay,
I think that's what we're expecting.
Yeah, we went through that already, I think.
Yeah.
what's that?
I think we
Yeah.
went through that
You have
because
any idea
that's why
what
we
was
approved
left
it.
there, like 100,000 or something?
Something in, yeah.
Something
we
in
kept
that ballpark or what?
But we don't know till they're appraised.
Till they're appraised.
Yeah,
Right.
It's a
Yeah.
guesstimate.
yeah.
Guesstimate, yeah.
And it's that guesstimate is off of 6,000 an acre, I
Yes.
think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they get appraised.
Any more comments on that there, Bobby? Dan or Tanny?
Nope.
All right. Correspondence?
First is the meeting dates for next year,
Yeah. For this year.
for this year, for the rest of the year and next year.
Is
Do we
that,
have, do we have to approve that on a motion? or
Yes,
no?
yes.
True.
So look through the dates and make sure everything works for you. And then I'll get this out to the Times News tomorrow to publish them.
is it all right for Veterans Day?
Pardon?
We gotta have the office open for Veterans Day?
Oh, what day is that? November 11th?
11th, yeah. Move that if you want.
We can move that one.
Yeah,
I don't remember if the office is closed.
yeah. we are.
Yeah.
Okay, then we're closed. Okay. So we'll move that one. Do you guys want that to be the following week?
Yes, the following, because
Yeah.
the first Tuesdays I'm
Yeah.
usually got all that for tonight.
All right, so then that would be November 18th.
Good catch.
Yep.
Where's the gold star again?
November 18th.
Yeah. Good catch.
We have a motion to accept these dates.
I make the motion to accept the dates for the
Tanner,
I'll second it.
Danny?
I just had something else really quick. Are you guys okay if I email you the reminders about the meetings and if they're happening or not, instead of just mailing it to you? I can
Very
still
good.
mail
I'm
you
okay
a
with
paper
that.
copy, Dick, if you would like.
What you need to do
He
is
has a
yellow
folder.
highlight where it's gonna be at,
Oh, she.
cause I don't read them.
But-
And you might have.
I'll
But-
make it really big. I'll make it huge. Okay, so I'll email that stuff now.
Text. He gets text.
I'll call him about them.
Okay,
I'll-
text. Text would be easier,
Yeah.
just a simple, what, I'm not telling you what's easier.
Oh, no. You
But-
know about it.
Whatever is easier. With the easy way.
And also when Dave
Routine.
and you do the
The
updates,
18.
could you let us know what you're doing and when you're doing on each farm, so we have a little bit of an idea of what's being done?
For the farm updates?
The farm as you're doing them, yeah, like
Oh.
on the steel farm,
Okay.
update us of what's going down the tube or whatever, any one of them.
Do you
Update.
want that in a phone call or an email
Phone
or a
call or
text?
email, whatever suits you.
Email would be better, that way we can read it over and over and
Okay.
over until we
Yeah.
understand it.
And just
I'll email
just
them to you
generic.
and I'll call
Yeah.
you.
very,
Okay.
just very
It
generic.
don't have to
Okay.
be a
Don't have to
long
be-
thing.
Just
Okay.
very.
Pending that don't call here no more. you know. Make it simple. But everybody gets texts and can read them and just a simple,
Okay. That
Or
was-
anything else?
That was my only side comment.
Call for adjournment then?
I make a motion.
I second the motion.
Danny?
That's the most important motion I made all day.
All right.
This meeting last year was 30.